okay? Now you might have an LLC. Most folks start as an LLC and transition over to be taxed as an S corporation. I can spend a little bit of time talking about S corps and why a lot of people transition over to the S election, okay? We'll make that very simple here, but a lot of folks, you guys start as an LLC and there's nothing wrong with that. When you start, let's say Stevens Construction Company, LLC, okay? So I start as an LLC, I start making money, and I eventually have to report income on a specific schedule called Schedule C of my personal tax return. So now I have to report income if my construction company is doing good, which hopefully if you have a business, you're reporting income. The income is going to be reported on Schedule C. And on Schedule C, we have to pay a specific type of tax that's called self-employment tax. And I'm just giving you guys the quick overview here on why people switch over to an S Corp. With an S Corp, it's a little bit different. We're going to have the same construction company, LLC, but now I am being taxed as an S Corp. I am no longer going to report on Schedule C. I'm going to report on a specific tax return called the 1120S. Okay? Now, why does that matter to me? Well, instead of paying the full 15.3% of self-employment tax on whatever profit I have, now I get to split that amount between a W-2 and a distribution, also known as a K-1, okay? And as Franco says, a lot of audits, that is correct, okay? The idea here is that I, as my own employee of my own business, only pay self-employment tax on the W-2 that I pay myself, not on the distributions. And this can help people save $5, $10, up to $40,000 sometimes, depending on how much money your business is earning. Okay? There's your quick lesson on S corporations, but we're going to continue building this out. Okay? Pausing. Everything good here? I don't see any major questions here. I think we're going to move on. Now, who should own the member interests in my LLC? Should it be me as the individual, or should it be something else? Because most of you own the LLC individually. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But what is a good attorney going to tell you is that you want to own the LLC interest, the membership, through the trust, like this. We're going to make this a little bit thicker, like that. Now, the Rev Trust owns the LLC, or the membership interest. Deontay, when is it considered a distribution and not W-2 income? So Deontay, here's a very simple explanation for those that maybe have an S Corp. So you have an LLC. I'm going to spend 5 seconds, a little bit more than 5 seconds. So here's what we're going to do. You, hopefully business owner, you have a business bank account, all right? If you don't, I mean, you really need to get one. You're going to make money. The money's going to go through your business bank account. And then you have a personal bank. And the question here is, hey, I'm an S Corp, right? I'm an S corporation. How do I pay myself a W-2 versus a K-1? Here's the super, super simple explanation. You're going to, number one, Deontay, have payroll. Now, you can either use QuickBooks payroll, you can use Gusto, you can use ADP, doesn't matter. You're going to pay yourself what's called a reasonable salary. I'm not going to get into reasonable salary. I'm just showing you the mechanics behind taking the money out of your business bank account to your personal. A W-2 is a transfer from your business bank account to your personal. It's just coded as a salary, as a W-2, okay? And whatever that amount is, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into that. The second way is through an ACH. That's how you're going to pay yourself as an S Corp owner, as a W-2 and a combination of these two, a W-2 and an ACH. And the idea is that we want to minimize the W-2 for self-employment taxes. There's some instances where we want to increase it, but for this simple example, this is how we do it. Okay? W-2 and ACH. This ACH here is going to be classified as a K1 when you report your taxes. There you go. Hopefully that was helpful.